Hi everyone. Now we are going to discuss a topic called probiotics. What are probiotics? The idea that bacteria are beneficial can be tough to understand, isn't it? So we take antibiotics to kill harmful bacteria. The wrong bacteria in the wrong place causes problems or infections, but at the same time, the right bacteria in the right place can have benefits. So this is where our probiotics comes in. So probiotics is a term that was derived from a Greek word which means for life. Probiotics means for life. Probiotics are living microorganisms or viable microbial flora which are being used as a food or feed supplement that beneficially affects the host cell or host health by improving its intestinal microbial balance. Okay, so that's how you're going to have the definition of this probiotics. These are living microorganisms or viable microbial food or feed supplement that beneficially affects the host health by improving its intestinal microbial balance. So these probiotics thus are being friendly, beneficial or healthy microorganisms that inhabit the intestinal tract and help in maintaining health while fighting illness as well as the disease. So this here is an example of Yakult, which is a probiotic drink, and this drink containing a bacteria called as lactobacillus paracasei. Okay, and then coming to the history. So what is the history of behind this one is the concept of probiotics evolves during the last part of 20th century when a Nobel Prize winner, Russian Metchnikoff, so he's the person who won the Nobel Prize, okay, and he suggested that the long healthy life of Bulgarian peasants resulted from their consumption of fermented milk products such as yogurt. Yes, you heard right. It is yogurt, and he believed that when consumed that fermented bacilli, that is nothing but the lactobacilli, positively influenced the microflora of the colon. Whose colon? The is nothing but the intestine, by decreasing the toxic material activities and thus preventing the aging. So this is all the experiment that was done by Mr. Eli Metchnikoff, and he is the first suggested possibility of colonizing the gut with beneficial bacteria in the early 20th century. Since Metchnikoff has done the recent advances in microbiology and intestinal bacteriology, it has proven that these probiotics are working as wonders. And now some commercially probiotic producing microorganisms. Since this Metchnikoff research and recent advances in the field of microbiology and in some sort of intestinal bacteriology, it has been made clear that uh, containing of some lactobacillus species or bifidum species or some sort of streptococcus species are used as probiotics to play an important role in human health. And these were the few examples of all commercially being produced probiotic microorganisms. So here you can see this is a Bulgaris, Lactobacillus bulgaricus, and this is a bifidum bacterium that I'm telling, and this is a streptococcus thermophilus. Okay, so and here is a lactococcus. So these are all the different types of microorganisms which are being used as probiotics, but majorly these are the three species that we are using. So here I am going to just give a brief note of two types of probiotic producing microorganisms. One is lactobacillus and the one is the bifidobacterium. And lactobacillus, these are all the species of it. Lactobacillus as strains of it, that is lactobacillus acidophilus, lactobacillus fermentum, lactobacillus lactix, and Lactobacillus salivarius and Lactobacillus platardum. So these lactobacilli are gram-positive bacteria, and they are going to have a fermentive in nature, lactic acid producing bacteria, and these are aerobe tolerant, anaerobic, and survive at low pH levels. And they are very beneficial due to breakdown of proteins and carbohydrates in the intestine. And not only that, it even breakdown of the fats are also occurring by this lactobacilli, and also helps in absorption of minerals and vitamins. And then coming to the bifidobacterium, this bifidobacterium strains are Bifidobacterium bifidum, Bifidobacterium brevi, Bifidobacterium lactis, and Bifidobacterium longum. So these are some strains of this bifidobacterium. And coming to these bifidobacterium, these are also gram-positive, non-motile, non-sporulating bacilli. They can be characterized by having the higher pH withstand, lower redox potential, and the presence of ammonium and amines in the feces. And the most important thing here is this bifidobacterium is going to be more often seen in the infants. And this bifidobacterium number gets reduced with the aging. Okay. However, Saccharomyces bovadae and E. coli and Enterococcus strains are used as probiotics in non-food formats. So these are all being used in the food formats, whereas in the non-food formats, we are having a usage of some organisms like Saccharomyces, E. coli, and Enterococcus. Then coming to the desirable characters of probiotics. So what are the desirable characters of a probiotic? So here comes the microorganisms used as probiotic must fulfill certain criteria. So these are all the such type of the criteria. Let's see the first one. Microorganisms should possess a history of being safe. Okay, so if we are using a microorganism as a probiotic, it should be safe and should be isolated from the same species as its intended host. Whatever the species that is present in the host, that the same should be isolated and should be used as a probiotic, and simultaneously it should be safe. And the second one is it should be non-pathogenic and have a beneficial effect on the host. As I told you, this is also very important, that it should not harm the host and it should not become a pathogenic after entering, and simultaneously it should be benefit to the host. And then next point is tolerance to acid. So what it does mean? So in the stomach we are having the acid. So when you are consuming it, if this acid is going to be killing the bacteria, there is no use of taking these probiotics. So those probiotic organisms should have the tolerance to the stomach acid and the bile conditions of the intestine. And then they also should be able to synthesize certain essential nutrients. Okay, along with the absorption, they are also supposed to have the essential synthesis of essential nutrients. Then it should also possess ability to digest dietary substances. So that's what, when I told you about the lactobacillus, here I told you they are beneficial due to breakdown of proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. So that's also important in digestion. Then it must be able to adhere and colonize the intestinal surfaces. So if you are going to send 10 microorganisms, for example, as a probiotic, they must be able to adhere to the intestine, and also they should colonize. That means they have to increase in the number in the intestinal surfaces, and they should be antagonistic to carcinogenic and pathogenic microorganisms. That means they should not allow the carcinogenic and pathogenic microbes to harbor the intestinal in their presence. So that's what they are going to. And they should be avirulent in nature. That's what non-pathogenic or avirulent, causing no side effects. And then the microorganism should reproduce, resulting in the large number. That's what I told you here, colonizing the intestinal surfaces. So if a organism is going to have all these essential criteria, so obviously it is a desirable microorganism as a probiotic. Then moving to the probiotic foods. So you can increase your probiotic levels by eating the following foods. So what are those following foods? So I mean, cultured yogurt, then tempeh, then sauerkraut, and then miso and kimchi, kefir, pickles, and some probiotic supplements that are being available nowadays. So let's see these things in detail, how you are going to prepare. So here are the 6 great probiotic foods you must include in your daily diet to enrich your healthy intestine. Okay, then coming to here is the first one, yogurt. So obviously you know how to prepare the yogurt. I made a video on this yogurt preparation where you can go through it. So yogurt, possibly the most prevalent probiotic nourishment is yogurt or curd produced using the drain of dairy animals, goats or sheep. Okay, drain means it's nothing but the milk. So yogurt as a rule can rank at the highest form of probiotic gut health. So where is your yogurt? So here is the cultured yogurt. And then coming to the sauerkraut, it is made up of from cabbage, and aged cabbage is high in natural acids which gives you short pungent taste and bolsters the development of good microorganisms which can be included in your sandwiches, salads and sides easily. So here is your sauerkraut. Okay, this is made up of a cabbage. And then the kimchi, a Korean take on fermented veggies. All types of the veggies can be made. Kimchi is popular side dish aged, high in enzymes which aid the digestion process of your body. Vegetables like cabbage, cauliflower, chili pepper, scallion can be used with a mix of flavors like garlic, ginger, or even some salt. So here is your kimchi, having all the mixed vegetables. And then coming to the miso, it is customarily made by aging soya beans. Yes, here is the soya beans are going to have the addition of the salt and a kind of organism called koji. Okay, and these three together getting fermented, and that becomes your miso. And miso can likewise be made by blending soya beans with different fixings similar to grain, rice, and rye. And it is likewise high in different vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients including vitamin K, manganese, and copper. So here is your miso. Okay. And then coming to the buttermilk. So obviously we know this buttermilk. So the term buttermilk really alludes to a scope of aged dairy drinks, isn't it? Just this adaptation contains probiotics and it is at times called grandma's probiotic. So that's why our in India, ancient people will say that the drinking of buttermilk is a very good for health. And buttermilk is low in fat and calories, yet contains a few critical vitamins and minerals. For example, vitamin B12, riboflavin, calcium, and phosphorus. So instead of having this yogurt, if you're directly having this buttermilk, is better. Okay. Then coming to the pickles. So pickles does not mean of Indian pickles. So this is a kind where you should not have any vinegar is very important, which do not have probiotic impacts. Okay. So pickles are cucumbers that have been cured in salty water and aged. So here the pickle means they are going to be cured in the salty water and aged. And they are lower in calories and high in vitamin K, be that as it may, pickles influence utilizing. Nowadays, in all the pickles, they are adding the vinegar to preserve, so which do not have the impact of your probiotic impact. So that's better not to have the uh, what industrial prepared pickles. Okay, and these are the 6 great probiotics that we can include in our diet and to enrich our gut health. Okay, then we are moving into the health benefits of consuming these probiotics. So these are all the different kinds of health benefits that we are getting because of consuming the probiotics. So consumption of probiotics is said to be considerably beneficial to health, and the emergence of new public health risks suggest a way in which effect probiotic bacteria may play an important role in maintaining human health. So here I am mentioning a brief note of them. Okay, the first one is the intestinal tract health. So what do you mean by intestinal tract health? I told you. The studies proclaim consumption of this probiotics, species like lactobacillus, bifidobacterium, and streptococcus, is useful in treatment of many types of diarrheas. Yes, you heard it very correct. It's diarrhea and even in infantile diarrhea caused by a virus called as rotavirus and antibiotic associated diarrheas. Some people will get diarrhea due to the consumption of antibiotics, and such type of the that diarrhea is because of removal of the gut microflora. And if you are going to consume this probiotic, that gut is going to be replaced with the friendly bacteria, so obviously you can have the removal of this antibiotic associated diarrhea. Okay, and lactobacilli may also improve intestinal mobility and relieve constipation, particularly in adults. So these are all the benefits as intestinal tract health. And then coming the second one, immune response. So what is the immune response? The fighting against the diseases. And probiotics can enhance both the specific and non-specific immune response of the body by activating some sort of fighters in our body called as macrophages, okay, and increasing levels of cytokinins and increasing natural killer cells activity, or even increasing levels of antibodies. So these are all going to work in this immune response, and all those are going to be what we call it as, they are going to be enhanced or they are motivated to give the quick response by these probiotics. And then coming to the next one is the cancer. So what is this cancer? Evidences from research demonstrate that effect of probiotic consumption in cancer appears promising. Yes, it's promising. Probiotic bacteria may reduce colon cancer, not all types of cancers, but colon cancer risk by reducing the incidence and number of tumors. But results, however, are too preliminary at this stage to develop specific recommendations on probiotic consumption for preventing cancers in humans. Okay, so but we can use it, it's good for health. Then coming to the allergy, probiotic consumption may result in beneficial effects on certain allergic reactions by improving mucosal barrier function. Okay. Um, then coming to the next one, lactose intolerance. What is this lactose intolerance? The intolerance to lactose containing food is the most common disorder of intestinal carbohydrates digestion. So this is going to be happening in most of the 70% of the population worldwide. Now, this probiotic consumption shows that the appropriate strains of our bacteria like lactobacilli produce lactase, which hydrolyzes the lactose in dairy products to glucose and galactose. So that means the lactose is being broken down into the glucose and galactose. It seems that probiotic consumption of these bacteria can exert their lactase activity in the gut lumen, thus facilitating the digestion of this lactose and allowing or removing this lactose intolerance. And then moving to the next one, liver diseases. So what are these liver diseases? In non-alcoholic steatohepatitis, that means some people will get liver diseases though they are not alcohol addicts, but still they are going to have the fatty liver diseases, all these things, which we call it as non-alcoholic steatohepatitis. In such non-alcoholic patients are found to have the liver biopsy findings indistinguishable from alcoholic hepatitis. And this said that the novel probiotic therapy may be significantly useful in this liver diseases. Then coming to pregnancy, the healthy diet during pregnancy improves the chances of the birth of a healthy infant who will be at lower risk of disease later in life. That means if a pregnant mother is going to have the more consumption of this probiotics, the baby is not going to have the a lower risk of diseases later in life. Okay, and probiotics have been demonstrated to decrease risk of bacterial vaginosis and maintain balanced lactobacilli flora of vagina. So these are all the things which will fetch the pregnant lady to give a healthy baby. And then this next one is bioavailability and synthesis of nutrients. Probiotic help improving the digestible of certain dietary nutrients such as protein and fat. And the lactobacilli have been found to increase folic acid also, for example, in the content of yogurt, and bifidus milk and kefir to increase niacin and riboflavin levels in yogurt, and vitamin B12 in our cheese, isn't it? And vitamin B6 in cheddar cheese during fermentation. So here the probiotics, that means the microorganisms, are going to have the enrichment or synthesis of the nutrients in different process of fermentation. And then coming to the probiotics and HIV, studies demonstrate that women with bacterial vaginitis or at significantly increased rate of human immunodeficiency virus, that is HIV. It has been recently shown that a human vaginal probiotic strain is going to have can express potential put what we call it, that it is going to put a barrier functional viral inhibitor which may potentially lower the sexual transmission of this HIV. However, these results need further confirmation before they are going to be implemented. In addition to the above mentioned all health benefits, we are also going to have some other things like helpful in health conditions like hypertension, illness related to weight loss, and then collagenous colitis and alcohol induced liver damage, and even it will increase your healthier skin and increase the energy levels. So these are all the healthy benefits because of the consumption of probiotics. So I hope so you have understood this probiotic topic in detail. Okay, we are going to have some sort of negative impacts of consumption of these probiotics, but that is going to be only in the immunocompromised person and some other persons. So we should neglect it because majority of them are going to be of in the beneficial aspect. So we have to discuss only the health benefits. So that's how we finish the probiotics topic. I hope so you like it very well. Thank you.